Cheers and welcome to the live BBA. This is our first ever blind taste test. Gentlemen, open up your beers. They've been specially packaged by our travel writer Richard. On the panel today we have Josh West. He's coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee, longtime follower and first-time panelist. We've got Scott Blickham, longtime panelist but first time with us. We've got Andrew Lewandowski, who is part of the Virginia crew, and we've got Adam Chef Harms, who is our original crew and back for his third live BBA. My first question here, has everyone had a chance to open, sniff, mouthfeel, and check out this beer yet? Great. So, Josh, you have been a follower of the BBA for quite some time, and from Nashville, so I'm going to start with you, put you right on the spot. You've had this beer for about 30 seconds. What are your initial thoughts of this beer? How's it, first thoughts? Hold on, Josh. You got.
Sorry. A lot of very hop forward. Has a bit of bitterness to it. Kind of lingers off. Tastes kind of sessionable, not very high ABV. I like it. It's probably not something I'd go to all the time, but it is definitely, if there was a six-pack of it, I could handle a couple.
Okay, very cool. You're coming to us from Nashville, Tennessee. We're from Ohio and Virginia. Can you briefly tell us about what the beer scene is in Nashville and who are a couple of breweries that we should look out for?
In Nashville, there's always the staple Yazoo. They've been around for quite a while. They're doing some exciting things right now with some sours with Brandon Jones on board. They've had a couple of releases that have been phenomenal. But Yazoo does a lot of staple beers that kind of like everyone can drink. There's not a very high ABV releases. But they're all really good. Black Abbey's a new one that's coming up. They've only been open about 6 months now, and they put out great stuff. There's Turtle Anarchy in Franklin, Tennessee, which is about 15 minutes away, that do really good stouts. And up here they're getting ready to move to Nashville and open up a bigger brewery. Those are my three that I would go with in Nashville.
Okay, very cool, and welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
Scott, welcome back. It's been a long time since you've done a blind taste test. I'm going to jump right in. What style of beer do you think this is?
I'd say it's probably a sessionable IPA, so some sort of session IPA.
All right, and what to you is a sessionable IPA?
Excuse me?
What to you makes a good session IPA?
Well, it's drinkable, and to me it really doesn't have that alcohol bite to it, so I assume that it's probably lower in ABV, as Josh said. So for me, it's really about the alcohol content, and I mean, I'd really like to see more of the session IPAs. And I think you guys did a taste test last time with session IPAs, but I'd really like to see them bring some more flavor to them. So if this truly is actually one of the ones they're billing as a session IPA, I'm pretty excited because I feel like it does have a lot of hop forward aroma, and it has that good bite that an IPA has too. So I like this beer a lot.
Yeah, all right, awesome. And you, if I recall from the past shows, you are a hop head. You got really into hops. What are some of the IPAs that you've been enjoying lately?
It's funny. I've been enjoying a lot of IPAs lately, but I've actually been getting into sours more than anything. So Gooses, Flanders, a lot of those. So a lot of beers in that area. Brewery is one of my favorite breweries right now with their sour rye and eau de tart. But as far as IPAs, I'd say Who Farted's IPA, which is a Who Farted, kind of a play on words there. They have a great IPA that just came out and had that quite a bit. And then another couple others that are around here are pretty good as well, from Seven Suns Brewing, which is a local brewery. And then really liking Hop Juju, which was the gold medal winner for the Imperial IPA last year at the Great American Beer Festival, and that's by Fathead Brewery.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one.
It's hard to get here, but it's delicious.
All right, Adam, let's go over to you now. So it's been a while since you've done a blind taste test. Is Just bringing back the memories. And if you were to guess the ABV on this, what would you say?
You know, I'm not sure about the ABV. I'd say it is that sessionable, maybe 4.5%, 5% or something like that. But I don't get the IPA sense of it. I think it's more of American Pale Ale. I think it has a little bit of a malty kind of background to it. I think it drinks really well. To me, it reminds me when you first walk into a brewery, the smell and that initial, even that taste, that recognition. When you walk into any brewery, you have that mixture of the malts and the hops going along. That's what it reminds me of.
Okay, very cool. And you're enjoying the beer, I see. Andrew, so let's talk about the color. It looks a little dark on my screen, but how's it looking in your glass? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it still shows a little dark on mine too. But I mean, when I hold it up to the light, it's kind of a hazy orange, typical of kind of a dark pale ale, dark IPA appearance. And I mean, it's great. I agree with everybody. And it's a really nice, good, nice bitter taste to it, but it does have a nice amount of body on it at the same time. So I agree with everybody. I'm enjoying this too.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to tell you all that it is not a session IPA. This beer is actually brewed for the first time in 1998, long before that session IPAs, but just for a little historical background. So, Scott, let's head back to you. What's your rating on this? And if you were to guess who it is, what would you say?
That's a tough one. Rating-wise, I'd say it's probably a 7 because this is one that I'd pick it up and I'd drink and I'd recommend people try it. I think it's a good beer. It obviously has a lot to do with the style that it is too. I don't know. I'm kind of second-guessing myself about even the style, like you said. It's almost like maybe it's an amber or a red. I don't know, a rye. I don't know. It has something different to it. There's something that's kind of picking up, and the cloudiness is kind of throwing me. But I guess maybe I'd say it's a Bell's. I just don't know what Bell's, but something of that sort.
Yeah. All right, so you got a 7 there. And Josh, this is your first time rating a beer with us. What do you give that one?
Probably like a solid 6.5. I like it. This is something I would seek out if I saw at a bar they had it on tap. I'm not really sure if I'd seek this out in a package. Tennessee doesn't get a lot of really good beers, so I always try to go for like the best stuff. I guess we all do, but since we don't get very good, I always try to go to the best stuff that's available. But if I saw this at a bar, I'd definitely get a couple pints of it. It's very easily drinkable.
Okay, so you're at a 6 or 7?
Let's go 7.
All right, so
No, 7 works.
All right, and Chef, what's your rating, and what are you picking up from the nose of this beer?
I'm going to give this a 9. I think this is a really solid drinkable beer. I mean, I could sit around and drink multiples of these and not get that palate fatigue. I love drinking IPAs, but I can only drink a couple of them before I get that palate fatigue. I just get tired of drinking them. But this has just enough flavor that I can enjoy it, but not so much flavor that it's just jam-packed that I can sit and drink a 6-pack of these and be comfortable with myself. So a 9. But as far as like the nose goes, like I said, that it reminds me of a brewery. It has some hop characteristic to it. Has a really nice malt breadiness to it. But that's the first thing. As soon as I opened it and smelled it, that was the first thing that came to mind. Is when you first walk into any brewery, especially a big brewery. I mean, I was just down in Tampa, a month ago when we did this, and that was a big deal for me. So.
Yeah, you were at Cigar City, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get some fresh High?
Yeah, it was amazing. The fresh High, and then I got quite a few other beers down there too. The majority of their line that they have, they don't even bring past Tampa. It's pretty impressive the way that they have it. They have 100 and some different beers that they brew at any given time, but they only have basically the 5 or 6 that they mainly distribute. So
yeah, they're some talented guys. I met a couple of their brewers last week, and they're very cool guys. Andrew, so what's your rating and what's your big picture on this beer? Like, who's this beer for, and where do you find yourself with this beer?
I'm gonna give this a 7, easy 7. I do really enjoy this one. Big picture wise, where would I see this? I mean, I don't think this is necessarily for the, this wouldn't be a gateway type of beer. I don't think you need to, because it is a bit more hop forward than say something entry level, but it's not, a huge hot bomb at the same time. But it is something that, I mean, I could see myself having this really any time of year, because it is something that, whether, regardless of the season, I think would fit. I also just want, I mean, I'm not gonna, I can't, I don't have a clue like who it's from, or what the beer is, but I almost want to say it tastes along the lines of maybe kind of a little bit of a heavier like ESB, because it does have a little bit more of a malt body than like the standard IPAs do.
Yeah.
So this does remind me of a good kind of ESB, maybe an American style ESB.
Okay, I don't think you're too far off. As I said, this beer, which you all have rated as 7.5, it's first brewed in 1998. It's probably before like the big hop war and my Johnson's bigger than your Johnson kind of battle of hops started. So I'm definitely getting that big malt backbone. It's brewed with crystal malt, caramel malt, but it's 5.8% alcohol, and the beer we are drinking is Mad Hatter IPA from New Holland, Michigan.
Awesome.
From New Holland. Has anyone had this one?
I've had it before. I think it's a phenomenal beer. I mean, I stick with my rating. I understand the hop head kind of deal and trying to get as many hops as you possibly can. But for me, this is great. It's a nice balance. It's that yin yang where you have malt and you have hops going along the same time.
Yeah, it's a great beer. 2 years ago, we were in Michigan on a road trip, and 2 years ago, it was our 6th brewery of the day, and we slammed. I think we split a 2-liter boot to end the night. It was ugly. So Andrew, now that you know what this beer is, what do you guys think?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I've had some New Holland before. I've never had this one in particular, but yeah, I mean, it's for something that's been around this long. You said it was brewed back in '98.
Yeah, brewed for the first time in '98.
So I mean, for something to be around for this long and still have this, good of a flavor and nice, like I said, body, and like I said, something you could see yourself really having at any time. Yeah, I mean, that says something about the beer itself. I think that it's well done, great recipe.
Yeah, these guys have been a part of that scene for a long time, and I think James liked when he was drinking beers. One of his favorites, I think, was the Poet. Is that one of theirs?
Yeah.
I know they have Dragon's Milk, which is great. Josh, do you get this in Nashville, and have you had any of New Holland?
I've had a lot of New Holland. I've had some of their sours that are really great. We just about maybe 2 months ago, we got New Holland in Nashville, and that's what's reminding me now because I went to the opening and I had about 3 of these.
All right.
It's starting to come back now. So yes, we got it. We have it here, and it's kind of everyone's go-to right now because it's the new beer here.
Yeah. All right. Great. And Scott, I'll end the question with you. Have you had this beer before, and would you add this to your repertoire?
I have had it before, and I can't even remember when it was. Maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I feel like it was at James's house. Going kicking back a long ways, but James not. I believe I had it at his place on his back porch, and yeah, I would go back to this beer. I like it. I think it's not too high in the alcohol content, but it has a lot of flavor. a lot of what I look for in a beer, and it's it's something different than a BMC beer. If you're looking for something to drink, 4 or 5 of, this is a great ball game beer, or just sitting out on the back porch with your buddies.
Yeah. Okay. Great. I'm enjoying this. This is 5.8%, so it's going down pretty smooth, and to me, I don't really get a lot of palate fatigue in here. Does anyone have any final comments before we sign out?
Well, just a thought, because like I said, the first thing I think of when you mentioned New Holland, I know it just came out. They just did it a couple of months ago. Was Dragon's Milk. That was a pretty big one that they do. I think it's their bourbon, bourbon barrel aged stout, right?
Yeah, I know Dragon's Milk. I can't remember. They have some sort of milk stout. I can't remember if the Dragon's Milk is their bourbon barrel or not.
It is. They have a bourbon barrel variant of it, yes.
Okay, great.
Nice. Okay. I don't know. Just came to mind here because I know I've had that one more recently than anything. But yeah, solid stuff.
Yeah, they have great stuff. Anyways, I'm going to wrap things up here. I would like to thank our panel, Andrew, Josh, Scott, and Chef. This has been great. New Holland, Matt Hatter gets 7.5 on the BBA scale. Have you had this beer? Is this a go-to beer for you? Let us know in the comment section of the video. And this is your Better Beer 30, and I'm David Hartogs.